Just for a change, we've got a Woman of the Week, and I'm pleased to tell you she's singer Elkie Brooks. Also, we'll be meeting a man whose wife walked out, leaving not just him, but 2 small children as well. So we'll be looking at the flip side of the coin when women leave their children, what it's like for the men who are left to cope.
Well, as I'm sure you know by now, every day this week between 8:30 and 9 we're broadcasting live from the Cannes Film Festival in the south of France. So let's join Jayne Irving now once again for Bonjour Bretagne.
Hello, bonjour and welcome to Bonjour Britain. We're here in Cannes live every day for the 41st International Film Festival and broadcasting live from the rooftop of the Palais du Festival, where not only do they show all the major films here, but it's like a huge marketplace for buyers and sellers of films. They've all got their offices down there. Actually, there's a saying around Cannes that the buyers get paler and the sellers get browner because apparently the buyers are sort of constantly sitting around on terraces and the beach waiting for the sellers to come and hawk their wares, and the sellers are on the phone all the time trying to sell their stuff. But the programme this morning has a bit of a musical theme. It's becoming quite the thing for pop stars to go into films, and yesterday I was, as I mentioned, Sting's in town to promote his latest film, Stormy Monday, and we're going to be chatting to him later. But our first guest this morning is Bob Geldof, who's about to make his debut as a director in a film which he also co-wrote. It's called Cowboys. Good morning to you.
Morning.
How are you coping with all the madness, the socialising?
Fairly well. It's maintaining some interest in it that's difficult, because it's quite a boring thing. As you said, it's a market, you know, and people are here essentially to sell something or another, and you just set up your stall and off you go, you know. And I don't think there'll be any TV or stuff like that if they didn't have the commodity that they're selling, sort of some stars around, you know. So, but I don't like it very much, you know.
Do you get sickened by all the posing then?
No, there's very little posing. It's all business. It's like an agricultural fair, you know. Only where the commodity isn't cattle, it's films, you know.
Yeah. So tell us about this film. I mean, where did you get the idea from?
It's about some people that are composites of people that I used to know when I lived in Dublin, and they were a bunch of people who fascinated me always, and they've appeared in 1 or 2 songs, you know. And when I used to get bored when I was on tour with the Boomtown Rats and on the bus, I started writing out this chap's story, and over the years it sort of got more developed, and then I met a mate of mine who's an Irish novelist, Phil Davidson, and we sort of translated that into a script with which I did nothing. And then John Boorman read it one day, and he rang me up, and I didn't know him particularly, and he said you should do this film. It's quite good, and that was pretty good encouragement. And then Steve Woolley from Palace Pictures read it and said I'd like to make this. So here I am, you know.
So what's the main character like then?
He's quite a charming, well, he's not charming at all, in fact. What am I saying? He's charming. He's quite a sympathetic person. He's not charming. He's quite stupid, but nonetheless you feel a certain sympathy with him because of his situation, and he's desperately trying to get out of that situation, but not necessarily willingly. It's very difficult to describe, but that's what he's like, and all the he's sort of striking out at all these phantoms that are around him.
And is he someone who basically wants to make it and kind of get out of Dublin then?
No, he doesn't want to get out of Dublin. He just wants to get out of the predicament he finds himself in, and it's in his own sort of rather small and pathetic way, a desperate attempt to make it in his terms, you know, which by most other people's terms wouldn't be making it at all.
Is there anything of you in him then?
No, I don't think so. It's all something I'm very familiar with, and the conditions that apply to these people I'm familiar with. But I don't think it's got anything to do with me at all.
You've always had a bit of a sort of love-hate relationship with Dublin though, haven't you? Because I know you used to find it really frustrating sort of early on in your life, being able to get things done there. I remember reading in your biography when you tried to set up a magazine and just had incredible problems.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's. I really like the people there, and which makes it even more poignant, I suppose, because they're fantastic. But there is a certain attitude there, which prevents people from trying things, I believe, and you have to ask what that attitude is, and then you have to see why a lot of people leave there. In order to go away and succeed at doing something, far more leave and go away and succeed and stay and succeed. And I think that's a problem, and that might be that's sort of a part of the film. But essentially, it's a story, and it's like a bit of an adventure story, and it's funny, and it's dramatic, and all those things. It's not going to bore people to death, I hope.
So how far have you got with it then? You are actually going to make it, and you've got quite a bit of money together so far.
Yeah, I'm going to start in October, and I've already got the most of the main elements of the crew together, which was important because I don't want to make a complete idiot of myself, doing it for the first time. So I got people whom I knew from before to be the director of photography and the camera operator and the set designer, all pretty important. And in fact, they're most of the people which is in the Chris Menge's film A World Apart, which some people say will win the Palme d'Or here. And they're brilliant people. So if I want to do something, and they're not going to turn around and go like this, they're actually going to say, well, you can't do that for this reason. And then the cast, I'll go and start casting in about 6 weeks or something.
Bob, stay with us, because I know you'll be interested in what's coming up next. An interview with Sting. Right now, we'll take a break.
Munch it, you can brunch it, chip it, dip it, any way you please it, cheese it.
Remember the amazing Tefal thick and thin toaster? Well, we've improved it. Naturally, it'll still toast
Thin slices like this.
or
Whacking great doorsteps like these.
and lots more, from crumpets to tea cakes to
Melba
toast. But now, instead of just 2 slices, it can toast 4 at once. New from Tefal, the only 4-slice thick and thin toaster.
She needs a washer here.
The sheep to run, do you hear?
Don't worry! This turbomatic can adjust to different loads, my dear.
Can do, can do, can do, can do.
Home from the Crusades, Richard was again to taste the fruit so long denied him. Petits Filous, truly a dessert fit for a king.
Hello again, and welcome to Bonjour Britain. Bob Geldof is still with us, and it's becoming something of a tradition, really, for pop stars to go into the movie industry. And I think I mentioned yesterday that Sting is in town to promote his latest film, Stormy Monday. And as I said yesterday, the crowds went absolutely wild when he turned up, and he's now had to actually retreat to his hotel room, where I asked him how he's coping with it all.
Well, I've been here before, so it's no surprise to me. You spend all your time being chased by photographers, and both amateur and professional. And last night we went to the cinema to see this movie, and it took about 20 minutes to get through the photographers. I have to, retain amusement. I can't get panicky about it. It's scary though, people falling over each other. It's Cannes, it's everything you think it is. It's glitzy, it's shallow, it's glamorous, it's fun.
Well, obviously people won't have seen the film. Can you sort of tell us what it's about?
It takes place in Newcastle, which is my hometown, and I feel very strongly that one of the stars of the movie is the town. It really looks great. It looks the kind of place that a lot of films should be made. I think Get Carter was made there, in my memory. And it's based around a jazz club which I play the owner of. And it stars Tommy Lee Jones, Melanie Griffith, Sean Bean, and me. And it's they call it in France a film noir, which is a sort of thriller, and I'm very proud of it. Sign, please. Shouldn't have damaged the desk. I shouldn't have done that. I watched the film and I see my brother more than myself. Not that my brother's violent or aggressive.
What does he do?
He actually owns a club in Whitley Bay.
When you're talking about it now, I can hear the accents coming through again, isn't
I'm being my brother now. He's watching now.
How important are your roots up there to you?
How important are my roots? I think because Newcastle has a very strong regional identity, it really gives you a lot of self-confidence to go out into the world. People always know you're a Geordie.
The character that you play is actually quite a hard case. I mean, you don't strike me as being particularly aggressive at all.
Well, I'm tough. I'm very strong. You know, I've been in fights in my life, but you know, it's not something that I need to express to people all the time. You know, I think there's something wrong in the archetype of actors who promote movies, and the posters are this big guy with muscles and a big gun. You know, I don't think that's a terribly positive reflection of manhood at all. You know, I think you look like a dork if you do that. So I never want to do a movie like that.
Watching the scenes of madness here in Cannes, I mean, are you able to have a kind of normal life at home?
Oh, this is my absolute right to go to the pub, to go to the betting shop, to take the dog for a walk or buy some groceries. It would be a tragedy if the reward for success would be trapped in a house surrounded by barbed wire and bodyguards and Doberman pinchers. You know, I don't want that. I really don't want it. You know, I live in London. People know who I am, but you know, that's all it is. You say, hi, how are you, Sting? Or, I like your record, or I don't like it. But I don't feel as if I need to be protected.
And why not? Well, Bob Geldof is with us this morning. Bob, I mean, Sting's been very successful.
You actually said, and why not? I mean, just because you're on a movie programme, it doesn't mean you have to be Barry Norman.
No, I haven't got the accent right, actually. Sting's been incredibly successful doing films and music, but I suppose people are inevitably going to ask you, you know, if you're going into films now, does this mean that you're going to be tempted to abandon music altogether?
No, because I've been in movies. The first time I was in Cannes was with The Wall, where, you know, that sort of madness. I mean, actually, you know, if the producer of this show pitched up at a movie tonight, like, there'd be also madness because they haven't a clue, really. You know, they just got bananas and anybody who's in a dicky bow and sort of tie, and the old gendarmes are out and the band starts, and like, they got bananas. And obviously they got more bananas because it's Sting, but it's a sort of a local bean fest. But I mean, he said it was, you know, glitzy. I don't find it glitzy. I think it's like a sort of drab seaside town. And I don't think it's glamorous at all, and I don't think it's fun at all either. I think it's incredibly boring, and when you see most of the people in a small little pub at 2 in the morning, you know, getting more and more drunk, and there's litter all over the pavement, and you know, glass and that, and you stagger home and then try and wake up the concierge to get into your hotel who falls flat in his face. It's more like a Jacques Tati film than it is, you know. Tati, I think, is a very good word. I think it's a very thin veneer of glamour if it's there at all, and I find it very difficult to see. And when I came here in another life as a sort of star of a film, I found it equally bizarre. You know, I just thought it was silly, and I just wanted to leave.
I mean, some of these places, they don't let you in if you're not wearing the right kind of clothes.
No, they don't let you into the official screenings unless you've got black tie on and stuff like that, which is also a way of ensuring that it has a veneer of glamour, you know, and which is all right, you know, a sort of dress code for an entire town. But other than that, and no, to get back to your question, no, it doesn't mean I've given up music. In fact, I've just come from America, where I played on the 40th anniversary of Atlantic Records with fantastic people, like, you know, from just after the war right up to the present day, and I'm actually in the middle of doing another record right now, so no.
Oh, that's good news. Bob, stay with us. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
She was hot, and he knew it. He decided to put her out of her misery. Ski Cool. Pure yogurt, milk, and natural fruit juice, cutely blended to give the most refreshing drink a girl could ever have. New Ski Cool. Strawberry or orange. The delicious way to keep your cool.
George Formby doesn't fit with heavy metal.
Champagne doesn't fit in an old tin kettle.
But whenever there's a snack gap, Twix fits.
It wouldn't fit a pram with an in-car phone.
And a chihuahua can bury a dinosaur bone. But whenever there's a snack gap, Twix fits.
So when things are too small or too big to buy,
One thing fits just right. Twix has shortcake and caramel, plus delicious milk chocolate, and there's two as well. So whenever there's a snack gap, Twix fits. Whenever there's a snack gap, Twix fits.
Hello again, welcome back to Bonjour Britain. As we've been saying all week, Cannes
Bonjour Britain. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, didn't you know? Anyway, we've been saying all week that basically, and Bob's been saying as well, that basically Cannes is a sort of frantic market for the film world. And when movie people go out to sell themselves, they certainly don't do it by halves, as our reporter Paul Rising has been finding out. Here's his report.
An early morning jog on the French Riviera. A good time to place the day's publicity objectives firmly in front of you. It may look like Eastbourne, but this is Hollywood-on-Sea, the home of hype. How else could you hope to persuade people to see pictures like Return of the Swamp Thing, Frankenstein General Hospital, or Zits? Yes, this is the spot where people will do anything for attention. As shameless a performance as it is historic.
To the Film Festival of Cannes on the French Riviera come the brains and beauty of the world's picture industry. Diana Dawes is in danger of getting writer's cramp, and she's not the only one. Outside the Stars hotels, autograph hunters are waiting to pounce.
In exactly the same place 30 years later, the crowds have gathered for a glimpse of a star. And if you're, say, Clint Eastwood making your way out of the Carlton Hotel, how very gratifying that all these people have turned up to look at you. If you're Dustin Hoffman, it's similarly gratifying, only darker.
Now, the thing about Cannes is, you don't have to be a star to be a star. Anyone can be famous here for 15 minutes, and if you don't believe me, well, here's the proof.
Ashley Palmer from Crawley in Sussex, a waitress at Cannes' British Pavilion. She's never been in a film in her life, until now. Martin Spavin and Richard Blanchard are two photographers we've asked to help us turn Ashley into a movie queen for a morning. They take her down to the beach to demonstrate that in the twinkling of a shutter, a star can be born. Soon our two snappers are joined by a swarm of other photographers. It doesn't matter, they don't know who she is. The point is she must be somebody because people are taking her picture. And so, in minutes, the magical transformation from Ashley Palmer waitress to Ashley Palmer legend in her own lunchtime. A bizarre and somewhat uncomfortable experience.
Very, very embarrassing. Seriously, I can honestly say it was the most embarrassing experience of my life. It was horrible.
Screen International magazine gossip columnist Peter Noble is a veteran observer of the Cannes hype scene.
Everything's hype. There's balloons, girls naked. I mean, a girl was walking along yesterday. She had a leopard on her chain. I mean, you had to look at it, didn't you? She also happened to be naked, but you either looked at the leopard or the girl, depending upon your preference. But that's hype. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of hype go into Cannes, but it all works.
Fortunately, some things in this world are peculiarly resistant to hype. And for the citizens of Cannes, life goes on as normal. The excesses of the film world, just a load of bull.
Absolutely, Bob Geldof watching that with interest. I mean, it's true though, isn't it? It's staggering that you can actually do that.
I mean, I absolutely sympathise with Ashley Palmer, you know. I mean, it is dreadfully embarrassing and generally silly. Yesterday, I was walking down, there was some girl who was trying on T-shirts at every single T-shirt stall along the prom. And like, you know, of course, every time she had to try one on, she had to take one off.
Of course, yes.
And, but actually the first time I came here, it was pissing rain and it was horrible, and there was two people on the beach, and one of them was an unsuspecting holidaymaker who'd come down to Cannes, and like she was lying there like in between the bouts of rain, two umbrellas on either side, and she had her top off, you know, and she was the only person in the entire part of Cannes with her top off. So there was like literally 600 photographers around this girl, nothing to do with the film industry, just because she had her gear off, taking pictures of her, you know.
But I mean,
it's very silly.
They all spend so much money, the film companies, on doing it, and yet, I mean, really, does it work in the end?
I think they spend a lot of money on selling their pictures, and like, I mean, it must be very hard to sell Frankenstein General Hospital. I mean, let's face it. And so they set out, as I said, their stall. It's really no different to any other marketplace. And they have film sellers, and they have the brochures and everything, and they're trying to convince a finite number of buyers to put their film on around the world. And often they haven't made the movie yet. And they're trying to sell even a title. I mean, Canon, Golden Globes were famous for coming up with titles and flogging the title, you know, and then going off and making a seriously duff movie, you know. But and that's what they do. So it's funny to an extent.
Well, when do you think we're going to see cowboys on the screen, Bob?
Probably at Cannes next year.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to it. It's been great talking to you. Thanks ever so much. Now, that's it from Cannes for the morning. It's back to London.
Jayne, thank you very much. Thank you too, of course, to Bob Geldof. Regards to Bob, Jayne, if he can still hear us.
Yes.
As descriptive as ever. If Cannes isn't good fun, he's on the way out. If Cannes isn't good fun for Bob, what is, Jayne? Do we know?
Pardon?
If Cannes isn't very much like fun for Bob,
bye, Bob.
I'm not going to get the question
Goodbye,
in,
Bob.
Bye,
Bob. Good to see you. Yeah. We had all sides of Bob Geldof there, didn't we?
Dear. Jayne, what's on the agenda tomorrow?
Well, we've got Susan George and Simon McCorkindale, who are in town to promote their film, Stealing Heaven, and Bob's coming back.
Hello, Bob. Hi, Bob. How are you?
Bonjour,
Give
Robert.
them a wave in London, Bob.
What?
They're over there.
Ask Bob what he thinks of British television.
Yeah, they've got a new film out called Stealing Heaven, so they'll be in talking about that.
We've stolen the thunder, rather, I think, as well this morning.
I don't believe it. What is wrong with Bob Geldof?
He's gone.
I didn't think I was being that boring.
Poor lad must have gone for a drink, I think, mustn't he?
Oh, well, that's the story in the morning papers, Jayne. Geldof walks out on Irving. We'll look forward to you meeting you again tomorrow, Jayne. Enjoy the rest of the day at Cannes. What are you going to do?
Thank you. Well, there's a party on the beach, actually.
Oh, that's a shock.
The Kemp brothers from Spandau Ballet are apparently going to play the Cray twins in a new film, so they're going to be dressed up in all the East End gangster gear down on the beach, so I'll be going along to see what that's like.
Oh, great. Well, we'll look forward to seeing shots of that and seeing many more shots of you two as well tomorrow, Jayne. Have a good time out there in Cannes.
Thank you very much.
Right, I think it's time to rejoin George. We've had a call this morning, actually, asking where's Trish gone? Fairly general inquiry. Trish hasn't gone anywhere. She's been away on holiday, and while she's been away, George has been filling in for her. George.
Thank you, Richard, and good morning to you. Well, we've seen the breakup of that good weather today, with a cold front having moved down to the very far south of the British Isles today, and we've got some low pressure up in Scandinavia today. That's causing that front to move down to the south of England. So, to start off with, rain and an intermittent sunshine up in the north of Scotland today. Further down the country, cloud and rain moving in, and also south of Wales and the southwest are going to get the best part of the sun this morning, but that's all going to